Let's jump right in today. As many of you are aware, it's been a tumultuous stretch for crypto over the past few months. The market cap of the crypto industry has declined dramatically to about $865 billion after reaching a peak of $2.9 trillion. This volatility has put a lot of pressure on some of the most high-profile fintech companies operating in the space, including crypto lenders Celsius and BlockFi, and trading apps such as Robinhood. And that has sparked a lot of chatter of consolidation. To help us break it down is one of my favorite experts in the space, Julie Verhage Greenberg, Head of Content and Community at Aurum. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Sarah. Great to be here. It's a perfect way to start the holiday weekend.
Absolutely. So let's get real and start by talking about the company that has been the common denominator in several of the M&A rumors, crypto exchange FTX. What can you share about it and why they continue to be spoken about as a potential acquirer?
Yeah, I mean, if anyone on here hadn't heard about FTX before this week, they have now. So FTX is obviously, like you said, a crypto company. I would love to know exactly how much money FTX has because it sounds like it's a lot. Them and a couple others in the space have said that they want to do more M&A this year, just given the downturn, which you were just talking about. And the big rumor this week was that FTX is, well, there's two actually. FTX in talks to buy Robinhood, as well as FTX possibly doing an acquisition of BlockFi, which is another crypto company that does more crypto lending focused at like fire sale prices. They had already offered them a $250 million credit line just because BlockFi was in a bit of trouble. And now it sounds like they might be buying them in a fire sale too. I should say like both of those are speculation. Reporters had said that they've heard that they're in talks and everything. So nothing is for sure yet, but that's what the rumor mill's saying right now.
I would also like to know how much they have. Earlier in the week, FTX was reported to be weighing an acquisition of Robinhood, like you mentioned. FTX quickly responded, saying they were not having talks with them. Do you actually think this deal could happen? Does it make sense? And if not, what else would?
So there's a lot of things to keep in mind. Just because talks are not happening right now, obviously doesn't mean they haven't already happened or they couldn't happen in the future. So, and even the story, I believe, said like talks are not happening now, but FTX is trying to think of ways that they could acquire Robinhood, just given that their share price has declined quite a bit since their IPO. And then the other thing to keep in mind is that the two CEOs, or not CEOs anymore, the one is the CEO, the other one is just another executive, but the two co-founders of Robinhood, Vlad and Baiju, own a lot of the company. So anything that FTX does want to propose to buy them, they're both going to have to be on board. Otherwise, there's basically zero chance that I could go through. I believe they have like 61 or 62% ownership through their voting shares. So again, like they would have to say, okay, let's make this work for anything to happen.
Great insight. Yesterday, it was reported by CNBC that FTX was nearing a deal to buy BlockFi for just $25 million, a 99% discount from its latest valuation of $4.8 billion. BlockFi CEO tweeted that this report is not accurate. What was your reaction when you saw the report come out?
The reaction was like, wow, that's quite the discount to previous valuations, as you mentioned, as well as I believe it was just 2 or 3 weeks ago, BlockFi was looking to raise at a $1 billion valuation, which is obviously still a steep discount to previous ones, but not anywhere close to the 25 million that CNBC was reporting. My thought on the tweet is that, okay, they're not being bought for 25 million, but is it 24? Is it 26? Is it 30? Like, just because he says they're not being bought for 25 doesn't mean it isn't some sort of fire sale. Again, it doesn't mean it for sure is, but I wouldn't necessarily weigh that tweet too much just from my reporter days. People love to do those sort of word games and stuff like that. This one makes a lot of sense because I think there's some synergies with both of them together. And then, like I said, BlockFi had already extended them a $250 million credit line, I believe about a week or two ago. So it sounds like BlockFi needs someone to buy them. I don't know exactly at what cost someone is willing to buy them for, but BlockFi is definitely not the one that is in power right now. It would be whoever wants to make a deal has that negotiation leverage.
Crazy how fast things
Yeah,
can
I mean,
change.
just like a couple of months ago, that would not have been the case. It's really been
No.
a whirlwind. I think a lot of us thought that there was a little bit of a downturn coming in 2022, just given how crazy the years before had been. But the veracity of it, I think, has surprised basically everyone.
It really has. Do you think consolidation in crypto is unavoidable in a market like
Oh,
this?
1000%. Crypto, fintech in general, other industries. I think everyone right now, any company in a good cash position that is looking to make some expansion, they are definitely looking at possible M&A opportunities for that. And I would say any company that's been beaten down that still has a lot of value to add to anyone would be good companies to look at. I don't necessarily want to like name names and start speculation rumors, but there's a lot in both the fintech space, the home improvement space. Like you look across the board and there's a lot that could be done. So I think M&A bankers will definitely be busy this year, while IPO bankers probably not as much.
Well, let's look at other companies other than FTX that we could view as potential acquirers. And without starting any speculation, we could even look at maybe legacy financial companies. An example would be JP Morgan, someone like that to swoop in. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I would say anyone from, any of the big banks, so like JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, uh, Citibank, anyone like that, I think would be in decent positions. The thing for them to keep in mind would be if regulators would be okay with that and if they'd still have enough capital cushion after making any M&A decisions. Payments companies, I think, are a really good one to look at. PayPal always has loved doing some M&A, although their stock has been beaten down a little bit, so they're not in as good of a position right now. But you look at Visa, MasterCard, American Express, all those guys are in strong positions, and their stocks haven't fallen that much. They are down a little bit, but they're more in line with what like the S&P 500 has fallen versus what fintech more broadly has. So I would say like those ones would be good ones. And then even some of the smaller players like Marqeta could be both an M&A target or an acquirer because they have a pretty good cash position, but they've also been beaten down. So I wouldn't be surprised if someone would want to step in and buy them as well. Same thing with a company like, I don't know, Lemonade or like the possibilities in fintech are endless. So I think that there's going to be a lot going on in the second half of this year. And this will be the first of many times that we talk about possible M&A in this space. And obviously on the private side, watching the crypto market, since most of those companies are private, would be one to keep an eye on. I would say Coinbase used to be one that we all thought would be a natural company to acquire other companies, but I think they're almost more of an M&A target now than they would be an acquirer.
I think pretty soon we're going to need a March Madness style M&A chart.
I love that idea.
What's happening. So I will co-create it with you.
Perfect.
Julie Verhage Greenberg, she's the head of content community at Orem. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and expertise. You've given me personally a lot to think about what's happening in our market right now. Where can people find you online and stay in touch?
Best place is probably Twitter. It's at Julie Verhage on Twitter. So no dots, no periods or anything like that. Just Julie Verhage.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much again for sharing your time and wisdom with us. To everyone listening, please have a safe, happy, and healthy holiday weekend, and we will see you back next week, same time, same space. Thanks for listening.
If you would like to see more content like this, subscribe to our channel and download the public app where you can listen to these sessions in live time.